friends, I've seen in my life, it seems much easier to criticize a government's efforts than to recognize the challenges, and I'm not saying that we don't have a lot of corrupt, problematic politicians, because clearly I think, big money's created a lot of problems in American politics. But the point I wanted to make is the effort that I see here, where the government is trying to creatively encourage people to different behaviors for the management of trash. They have serious challenges. These are old roads. There's only so many places for the cars to drive. I don't understand the whole issue. When I'm in a community and I see that kind of effort going on by local government, I have an appreciation for it, because I think it's mostly because I've served in a lot of different kinds of volunteer leadership positions. So I wasn't getting paid, but I was trying to help solve community problems and challenges and dive in deeper beyond ideology and really try to understand, what was going on. And I'm going to go ahead with another story, because I met a gentleman the other day in his mid-30s. He was university trained in communications, and he works for a local NGO. And it was very interesting to me, because I was asking, what is the mission of this nonprofit, basically, right? And he said, there are these villages around up in these mountains and stuff that have that are Andean traditional kinds of environments, and they try to find ways to help them resolve their problems, different kinds of infrastructure problems, like whatever it may be. And fascinating, right? I'm really interested, really curious. I'm gonna reach out to him some more. We connected, but I might have reached a dead end. That might have been one. No, maybe not. I'm going to try to get to the end of it. But anyway, the part that I thought was most fascinating was years ago. Let's come behind that door. Years ago. Oh, dead end. It's okay. I don't think lots of years ago there had been. So then I was asking him about funding also. Where does your money come for these initiatives? What he had learned and what they had learned was that a large flow of money coming from Europe had almost worked against them in a way. I hate putting words into his mouth, but just that it was very important to get the locals involved in the solutions, to try to meet with local leadership and really spend the time to dig in and find out what the challenges were and help them come up with the solutions. So I've learned that myself through these funny dogs and their little outfits. If that makes sense. So I guess it's very easy to dismiss the efforts of leadership and just to think, all politicians are bad, or they're all out to get us, and not appreciate community leaders. So the expression that politics is local, if you've heard that before, so much truth to it, because if you take the time to learn about your local politics and problem solving, you start to be able to see things on a larger scale. Clearly I'm walking uphill now. Have a great day. And now I understand, and it says this street has no exit. It meant down there. Yeah. So we'll go out this way. Take care. I had just one more little part I wanted to add to that. I think that we need to be careful when we say things like all politicians this or everybody that. And in this instance, what I'm referring to is very often people become quite skeptical about the motivation of politicians and leaders. Understandable, we should choose our leaders carefully, but we should not assume that because someone is in a leadership position that they're motivated by fame and fortune, attention, those kinds of things. And I say that because I believe that I know for a fact that we can't make that assumption, because I wasn't that kind of a leader. I truly, truly cared about my community and about how to improve it. And I was in a luxurious position of having the time to spend doing this volunteering. I also learned as a volunteer leader that some of my hardest working volunteers, other people who supported the causes that I wanted to champion, were not people who were just sitting around with nothing to do. They were very, very typically women, busy women, kids, lives, jobs, all of that, who cared deeply. So when we say things like that, we're discouraging other possible leaders who are wanting to do it for the right reasons from standing up and doing it, because nobody wants that kind of negative attention. So also be careful who you attack. Of leaders, be careful how you attack them. Don't make assumptions just because, right? Someone else said something, or make sure you know what you're talking about. And maybe get out there and do something yourself for your community. It's amazing what can get done when people work together for the betterment of society. Hope I don't have food on my teeth. Have a great day.